Hi there, this is Michael. I am from BetterTOEFLScores.com. Also, I am your instructor here at California State University, San Bernardino, and I'm evaluating. It's a writing/grammar assignment that you did last week. I used a writing prompt, something similar to the TOEFL IBT writing. So let's look at what it says here. It says, outside of school or work, many people have hobbies that they participate in. Some like to participate in exercises such as running, playing soccer, or walking. Others prefer more sedentary activities to keep them entertained, reading novels, watching television, or visiting museums. Write a 5-paragraph essay in which you discuss a hobby that you regularly participate in. During your hobby, you should, and let's take a look at each of these requirements here. Include a 50 to 100 word introduction plus thesis statement. Spend roughly 100 words describing the hobby in paragraph 2. Explain in 100 words one benefit of this hobby in paragraph 3. Discuss a second benefit of your hobby in 100 words in paragraph 4. And then end with a 25 to 50 word conclusion restating the thesis. All right, so roughly, if you kind of do the math on this, you got maybe 100, 200, 300, 400. Maybe you should be writing here between 4 and 450 words, right? Now the key is you have 5 separate paragraphs. I wanted to see if you could separate your ideas, and of course, I'm evaluating your use of the present tenses as you describe your hobby and explain the benefits of it. So that also gives me some information about your control or lack thereof of present tense verbs in English grammar. Now the question is, did you do this, right? Okay, so let's take a minute. Let's go over to what you wrote here. Here we go. So you did not do that. You put everything into the same paragraph. I have no idea why you did that. And then when you look at it, you only wrote 282 words. You certainly did not write between 400 and 450. So I'm not sure why you didn't follow the instructions, but in academics, that's one of the main things. If you ever take the TOEFL or any type of standardized test that tests advanced English proficiency, you got to follow the directions on either the reading, listening, speaking, or writing sections, or you're not going to be very happy with the score you get. Right? But nevertheless, I'm going to correct some of the grammar errors in here. I'm going to look at it, and then I'm going to show you how you can organize your ideas a little bit better. Right? So first of all, let's take a look at, let's review it, and let's see what Microsoft thinks about your writing. So your editor score is 87, document stats. It looks, which is actually not bad. You have words per sentence, 25.5 words per sentence on average. Your characters per word is 4.8. Your grade level is 13.6, so that's promising. It means that you're not just writing very basic vocabulary and very basic grammar. Okay, so here we go. Yoga reduces mental disorders. I'm going to put S here. Strengthens the body, stress relief, strengthens the body, stress relief, and relaxation. Systems and improves the cardiovascular system. Online yoga classes, we can get easy session. That's how it works easily. A lot of repetition. We have I think you want to get rid of this and maybe say this. We can get easy access to online yoga sessions. But this doesn't really follow. We can get easy access to online yoga sessions because it is a group of. You'd have to say something like, we can get easy access to online yoga sessions by using a high speed internet connection and by accessing plethora of YouTube videos. Maybe something like that. That's going to work. But then this sentence really doesn't really follow that. So you're not connecting things together very well. You move around lots. Like, how are you? You might say, well, Sacramento's a capital of California. There's not cohesive ties from one sentence to the next. Here you're describing yoga, right? Yoga is a group of physical, spiritual practices. I'm going to put spiritual and mental practices probably do it something like this. And disciplines which originated in India I'm going to create a new sentence here. I'll use a semicolon. During this exercise, participants recognize. During this exercise, participants recognize a detached consciousness maybe in the untouched mind. Yoga can strengthen our heart. But it doesn't make sense. You're talking here about what yoga is, and in the same paragraph, you're talking about how it strengthens your heart. That's a whole nother paragraph. But you're not taking time to develop your ideas. You remember I said describe yoga in 100 words? You didn't do that. You described it maybe in 28 words. Yoga can strengthen our heart. You said, and including our heart. You already said heart. Yoga can strengthen our heart. And practicing yoga regularly also improves our flexibility and balance, which is why I practice this hobby, you might say, on a regular basis. But you're not developing these ideas. You have too many things here. I think strengthen your heart, you have to spend 100 words proving that idea, right? It says explain one benefit, right? If you go back to the instructions I gave you here, it says spend roughly 100 words describing the hobby and then explain in 100 words one benefit of the hobby. So if you say it benefits the heart, you have to spend 100 words describing that benefit. You didn't do that. So your writing is very empty. You don't have a lot of what I call depth to your ideas there. An important benefit of yoga is to release stress, to manage our stress and anxiety better. Yoga will help us another benefit of yoga is I'm going to get rid of release stress. You're repeating stress too much, right? So an important benefit of yoga is to manage our stress and anxiety better. Yoga will help us, you have to create a new sentence here, will help us relax our bodies. It helps us and teaches us how to breathe and relax so our stress is more, you want to change maybe to manageable, and how to lower our stress properly. The problem is you're not giving any specific example to illustrate this. Online yoga classes, we can easily get session because it's a group. No, we need to get rid of this. You put also, yoga improves our flexibility and balance. So you mentioned this idea, but you don't develop it at all. Second benefit is to, see, here's the problem. Let's look at what you've done here. Is you're saying that this is the second benefit, but if you look at what you've said here, you've mentioned more than one benefit. You said that yoga can strengthen our heart. It improves our flexibility and balance. Those are two benefits. You're also saying that it helps us manage our stress and anxiety better. That's a third benefit. It improves our flexibility and balance. You've already said that. Okay, a second benefit is to help our core and our muscles. It will help with mental disorders and helps our cardiovascular system, also helps lower it. When I look at this, this kind of reminds me of if you're doing your laundry, you're taking all of your clothes, your lights, darks, your long sleeve shirts, t-shirts, short sleeve shirts, pants, underwear, everything. You're basically putting everything into the same paragraph. You have too many different things going on here, right? Okay, so that's pretty much it with that. So let's go over to the TOEFL for a minute. I'm going to look at how I would grade this according to the TOEFL. I gave you a writing assignment to see if you could use the verb tenses, and for the most part you are using your verb tenses, right? You're using present tense verbs to describe things, but there's no cohesion, there's no connection really with what's going on in the writing. Okay, so on the TOEFL exam, really, if I were grading this and using the rubrics from the TOEFL to grade this, I'm going to give you a 1. I'm going to say that your essay would score a 1. Serious disorganization and underdevelopment. Little or no detail or irrelevant specifics or questionable responsiveness to the task. Yeah, you didn't do what the task was, right? I have to judge you on whether or not you followed these instructions, and you really didn't. You simply did not follow those instructions. So for the next assignment I give you, whether it's in my speaking class or my grammar class, whatever it might be, you want to make sure that you follow those instructions. So your writing score here is 1.0 out of 5. I'm going to give you 8 to 10 points out of 30 on that particular writing assignment. So you're a graduate student, right? So this is going to be some time. It's not going to be easy to help you here, but we can do this. As long as you're patient, you're willing to work, you can definitely make a lot of improvements. If you had followed the instructions for this assignment, here's what you would have done, right? So I want you to kind of pay really close attention to this. This is important. Now let me go ahead and change the color on this so you can see it better. Here we go. Okay, so the first thing is you need a 100-word introduction with a thesis statement, right? What would that look like? So let's take a look at this. So I'm going to put the thesis statement near the end and look at the length of this. This is about 108 words. So it says, nowadays people are quite busy improving the quality of their lives by either going to school to qualify themselves for a future high-paying job or by diligently working at their job so that they can receive a promotion. In either case, these students or workers may sometimes choose hobbies that can distract them from these demanding tasks. Therefore, some people may choose physically active hobbies such as running, walking, swimming, or bicycling, whereas others would choose sedentary activities such as reading, watching television, or hanging out with friends. So notice the introduction first. I make some general statements here, just about people, work, school, whatever. But then I get a little bit more narrow here as I begin to restate the purpose of the writing prompt, right? I then talk about hobbies and why people choose hobbies and what kinds of hobbies people might choose. And then I have the thesis statement. To relieve me from the stresses of my academic studies and to improve my cardiovascular system, I regularly practice yoga. Right? So this becomes my argument here. But as I said before, you have to take time to describe the hobby first before you explain it. Now, this paragraph I actually took from a website here. I want to be honest about it here. I went to a website, I can't remember what it is, but it does describe yoga. I wanted to give you an idea of how you could do that. How would you describe yoga? That's what this is. So notice I asked you to describe it in about 100 words. This is a little bit longer than that, but it gives you an idea what I was looking for. So again, this is not me writing this, but this is an example of a description of yoga I found on the internet. Yoga is essentially a spiritual-based discipline based on an extremely subtle science which focuses on bringing harmony between mind and body. It is an art and science of healthy living. The word yoga is derived from the Sanskrit root yuj, meaning to join or to yoke or to unite. As per yogic scriptures, the practice of yoga leads to the union of individual consciousness with that of the universal consciousness, indicating a perfect harmony between the mind and body, man and nature. According to modern scientists, everything in the universe is just a manifestation of the same quantum firmament. One who experiences this oneness of existence is said to be in yoga and is termed as a yogi, having attained to a state of freedom referred to as mukti, nirvana, or moksha. Thus, the aim of yoga is self-realization, to overcome all kinds of sufferings leading to the state of liberation, moksha, or freedom, kaivalya. Right? So that would be describing it. Now, the most important part is when we go back to the actual assignment here, it says, explain in roughly 100 words one benefit of this hobby in paragraph 3, right? So what does that look like? That's what we're going to look at right now. Now, notice what I've done here in this body paragraph. This is 121. Is first of all, yoga relieves me of the stresses I have from my academic studies, right? So you have to look at the thesis here. It says to relieve me from the stresses of my academic studies. So I'm simply repeating that first key point in my infinitive phrase. And this is Michael writing here. I wanted to create a specific example to show you what does depth look like in academic writing. So yoga relieves me of the stresses I have from my academic studies. For instance, last week I had to complete a writing assignment in my grammar class, so I was feeling a lot of stress. During that time, I conducted several yoga sessions based on a YouTube video that I watched. As I completed those sessions, I created an almost perfect balance between my mind and my body. Now what I'm doing here is I'm repeating some of the key points in the description I made in the previous paragraph. During my sessions, I located my stresses in my body and mind due to the writing assignment I had and eliminated those negative feelings. Consequently, yoga eased my worries and provided relaxation. And after completing those yoga sessions, I approached my writing assignment in a more positive and relaxed mindset. So notice that's it. That's all I did. I talked about one specific idea. Notice how I kind of restate the word relaxed here. Relaxed mindset. Yoga relieves me of the stresses I have from my academic studies. So I'm kind of restating that purpose I mentioned in the beginning there, right? So that is that one body paragraph talking about a benefit. And then in the next paragraph, second of all, yoga improves the cardiovascular system of my body. Another reason why this hobby is beneficial to me. So what it means is I now have to spend another 100 words. Remember what it says here. It says, discuss a second benefit of your hobby in about 100 words in paragraph 4. That's what I would have to do here. So the only thing that I can talk about here is the cardiovascular benefit of yoga. That's it. I cannot go on to anything else. And then once I get done with that, I would say something like, because of these two reasons, yoga is a hobby that I really, really like to practice, or something. That would be your conclusion. But do you see what I'm talking about? Do you see the difference here? Is you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the fifth paragraph is a conclusion. But what you did was just all one long paragraph, and even then it was a lot of different ideas there. There wasn't any unity. There wasn't really any cohesion, or there weren't any cohesion or coherence, or cohesion and coherence to your writing. So that's pretty much a major problem that you got to think about. So you can have grammatical errors in writing, don't get me wrong, but if you don't have the structure or the organization to the ideas, it becomes very difficult to understand what you are trying to say. Alrighty? So thank you for completing this assignment.